Today's story is about Snow White and the mirror's deception. Welcome to our first episode of Snow White's journey. Once upon a time, in a kingdom nestled between rolling hills and ancient forests, there was a queen known for her unparalleled beauty. She was loved by her people and envied by many, but her vanity was her greatest flaw. This queen possessed a magical mirror gifted to her by an old sorceress. The mirror had the power to reveal the truth about anyone who looked into it, but its answers were twisted by the mirror's own malicious intent. The queen's most treasured possession was her daughter, Snow White. From a young age, Snow White exhibited not only beauty, but also kindness and wisdom beyond her years. As Snow White grew into a young woman, her mother's envy and bitterness only deepened, especially as the mirror began to show Snow White as more beautiful and virtuous than the queen herself. One day, the queen, driven mad by jealousy and convinced by the mirror's deceptive flattery, decided that Snow White must be eliminated to restore her own supremacy. However, the queen knew she couldn't simply banish her daughter. She needed a plan that would ensure Snow White's disappearance without arousing suspicion. The queen summoned an enchanted huntsman, known for his loyalty to the crown. She instructed him to take Snow White deep into the forest and leave her there, ensuring she would never return. The huntsman, a man of honor, was torn between his duty and his compassion for the young princess. When the moment came, he couldn't bring himself to harm Snow White. Instead, he warned her of her mother's treacherous plan and urged her to flee. Snow White, heartbroken and frightened, ran deep into the forest. There, she discovered a hidden glade with a charming, magical cottage. This cottage belonged to a group of forest spirits who had taken on human forms to protect the woodland realm. They welcomed Snow White into their home and offered her sanctuary. Meanwhile, the queen, convinced that Snow White was dead, reveled in the supposed restoration of her beauty. However, the magical mirror, sensing that the queen's victory was incomplete, revealed Snow White's continued existence and her refuge with the forest spirits. Determined to finish what she started, the queen devised several cunning schemes to find Snow White. First, she disguised herself as a humble peddler and tricked Snow White into eating a poisoned apple. However, Snow White's connection with the forest spirits allowed her to resist the poison's effects. Undeterred, the queen made a final, desperate attempt. She fashioned a cursed comb and infiltrated the cottage once more. This time, her magic nearly succeeded in ensnaring Snow White, but the forest spirits intervened at the last moment, protecting her once again. The forest spirits, recognizing that the queen's malevolent magic was beyond their power to contain, sought the help of an ancient forest guardian. This guardian, a wise and powerful being, confronted the queen and exposed her treachery. The queen's malicious deeds were revealed, and she was condemned to live out her days in exile, stripped of her magical mirror and her former beauty. Snow White, now safe, chose to remain in the enchanted forest with the spirits. She lived a life filled with love, wisdom, and harmony, ruling over the forest realm with the same kindness she had always shown. Snow White's story became a legend, reminding all who heard it that true beauty comes from within, and that jealousy and deceit will ultimately lead to one's downfall. And so, Snow White's legacy continued, not as a tale of victimhood, but as a testament to the strength of virtue and the power of a kind heart. And they lived happily ever after. I hope you enjoyed our first episode, Snow White and the Mirror's Deception.